Now the fourth verse, Vritti Sarupya Itratra. Here it is mentioned what happens when the tendencies which are not necessary comes to our mind, what used to happen. So Patanjali said that after Chitta Vritti, the soul is established in his or her true nature, but at other times, the seer identifies with the fluctuating consciousness, the negative tendencies. And then, when the seer identifies with the consciousness or with the object seen, one unites with them and forgets his grandeur. So when the negative tendencies rise in us, if we move towards them, then we root out from our own inside our own grand experience. So the natural tendency of the consciousness is to become involved with the object seen, draw the seer towards it, and move the seer to identify with it. And then the seer becomes engrossed in the object, and this becomes the seed of diversification of the intelligence and makes the seer forget his own radiant awareness. And when the soul does not radiate its own glory, it is a sign that the thinking faculty has manifested itself in place of the soul. And the imprint of objects is transmitted into the chitta through the senses of perception, and chitta absorbs these sensory impressions and becomes colored and modified by them. Objects act as provender for the grazing chitta, which is attracted to them by its appetite, and chitta protects itself, taking on the form of the objects in order to possess them. Thus it becomes enveloped by thoughts of the object, with the result that the soul now gets obscured. In this way, the chitta becomes murky and causes changes in behavior and mood as it identifies itself with the things seen. Although in reality chitta is a formless entity, it can be helpful to visualize it in order to grasp its functions and limitations. Let us imagine it to be like an optical lens containing no light of its own, but placed directly above a source of pure light, the soul. One face of the lens facing inwards towards the light remains clean. We are normally aware of this internal facet of the chitta only when it speaks to us with the voice of conscience. So in our daily life, however, we are very much aware of the upper surface of the lens facing outwards to the world and linked to it by the senses and mind. This surface serves both as a sense and as a content of consciousness along with ego and intelligence. Worked upon by the desires and the fears of turbulent worldly life, it becomes cloudy, opaque, even dirty and scarred, and prevents the soul's light from shining through it. Lacking inner illumination, it seeks all the more avidly the artificial lights of conditioned existence. The whole technique of yoga, its practice and restraint, is aimed at disassociating consciousness from its identification with the phenomenal world or the wrong tendencies, and at restraining the senses by which it is ensnared, and at cleansing and purifying the lens of chitta until it transmits wholly and only the light of the soul. So this is what used to happen when we identify ourselves with the unnecessary objects. And if we curb that unnecessary things, then we will be established in our true nature, a grand nature where the blissful experience only lives. Thanks for watching. This much in this video. We'll go further in the next video.